Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
This time, we're going to be talking about realistic and natural personal growth with a focus on the power of a clear call to action.
Okay.
We'll be unpacking an interview with Nimai Delgado
Mm-hmm.
from the JayShettyPodcast.
Okay.
Now, if you're not familiar with him, he is a vegan bodybuilder.
Right.
And you might be thinking, what does bodybuilding have to do with realistic and natural growth? Well, his story is anything but ordinary.
Okay.
He went from feeling ashamed of his vegetarian upbringing to becoming a role model and eventually leaving a six-figure engineering career to pursue his passion for fitness and plant-based living.
Yeah, it sounds like he really embodies this walk the talk philosophy.
Right.
It's one thing to talk about personal growth.
Right.
It's another to actually live it.
Yeah.
Especially when it means making unconventional choices.
Exactly. And that's what makes his story so compelling.
Okay.
He doesn't shy away from the challenges or the unconventional path he's chosen.
Right.
So let's start with his upbringing. He was raised vegetarian in a Hare Krishna community on a cow farm, of all places,
Wow.
which instilled in him the principle of ahimsa, non-harming.
That's an interesting juxtaposition, growing up on a cow farm,
Right,
but adhering to a philosophy of nonviolence.
right.
It seems like that early exposure to both the realities of agriculture and the principles of compassion must have had a profound impact on his worldview.
Absolutely. He talks about having an innate understanding of the interconnectedness of all living beings from a young age.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets interesting. Despite being raised vegetarian, he initially felt ashamed to talk about it.
Really?
Living in Mississippi, where meat-centric diets are the norm,
Yeah.
he felt like an outsider and tried to hide that part of himself.
Oh, I see. So it's a common experience, isn't it? Feeling like you have to conform to societal expectations, even if it means suppressing a part of who you are.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to embrace your true self, especially when it goes against the grain.
It does. And for Delgado, the turning point came unexpectedly through bodybuilding. He initially got into it for personal reasons, insecurity, ego, a desire to fit in. But as he excelled, people became curious about his physique and how he achieved it on a plant-based diet.
So what was once a source of shame became a platform for education and inspiration.
Exactly.
That's a powerful example of how embracing your authenticity can lead to unexpected opportunities.
It is. And it highlights how what we might perceive as weaknesses can actually become our strengths when we own them fully.
Yeah.
This shift from shame to advocacy is a crucial aspect of his realistic and natural approach to personal growth.
It makes me think about how often we try to force ourselves to fit into predefined molds instead of recognizing the power in our own unique experiences and perspectives.
Now, his journey takes another fascinating turn.
Okay.
He wasn't always a fitness guru.
Right.
He actually studied mechanical engineering
Oh, wow.
and landed a six-figure job in the oil and gas industry.
That's quite a contrast.
Talk about a departure from vegan bodybuilding.
Yeah. What prompted that career choice?
His upbringing played a big role.
Okay.
Growing up with financial instability instilled in him a deep desire for security. He excelled in math and science and saw engineering as a stable and lucrative career path.
Yeah, it sounds like he was following a logical path, one that many would consider a recipe for success.
Right.
But it seems like something was missing.
You're right. On his very first day on the job, he realized it wasn't fulfilling him.
Wow.
Can you relate to that feeling of pursuing a path based on external expectations, only to realize it doesn't align with your true self?
Absolutely. I think many of us can relate to that experience of chasing what we think we should do instead of what truly lights us up.
Right.
And it often takes a lot of soul-searching and courage to break free from that mold.
It wasn't an easy decision for Delgado. He actually stayed in that engineering job for 5 years, feeling trapped by the good salary and the fear of uncertainty.
Yeah, it's a reminder that golden handcuffs can be just as confining as any other kind.
Right.
It takes a certain level of self-awareness and courage to acknowledge that a path, even a seemingly successful one, might not be serving you anymore.
During those 5 years, the gym became his escape, his therapy.
Okay.
He was pouring his passion for fitness and plant-based living into coaching people on the side, sharing his knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
It was like planting the seeds for his future calling.
So even while he was stuck in a job that wasn't fulfilling, he was actively cultivating his passion and building his expertise.
Right.
That speaks to his dedication and commitment to what he truly valued.
And he didn't just dabble in coaching.
Okay.
He approached it with the same strategic mindset he honed as an engineer. He partnered with a software developer to build a platform for delivering content, meal plans, and coaching services.
Wow.
He was essentially creating a system to scale his impact and reach a wider audience.
That's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
He combined his passion with a practical strategic approach, recognizing that a clear call to action and a well-defined system were essential for success.
And that's where the call to action element comes in.
Okay.
It wasn't just sharing information.
Right.
He was creating a structured program that empowered people to take action and make real changes in their lives.
Yeah, it's like he was providing the blueprint, the roadmap, and the support system to help people navigate the often overwhelming world of personal growth and wellness.
And the results speak for themselves when he finally took the leap and launched his coaching program full-time.
Okay.
He made more in his first week than he did in an entire year as an engineer.
Wow, that's a powerful testament to the potential that unfolds when we align our actions with our passions and combine them with a strategic plan.
It's a real-life example of how following your heart and taking calculated risks can lead to remarkable rewards.
It's also a great example of how we can leverage our existing skills and experiences in unexpected ways.
Right.
He didn't discard his engineering background. He applied those problem-solving and analytical skills to build a successful business.
It's like he took the best of both worlds, the logical, analytical approach of engineering and the passion, creativity, and human connection of coaching,
Right.
and blended them into a unique and impactful approach.
His story really highlights how seemingly disparate experiences can converge to create something truly extraordinary.
Exactly. So we've seen how Delgado went from hiding his vegetarianism to becoming a vocal advocate, and how he transitioned from a secure but unfulfilling career to pursuing his passion.
Right.
Now let's dive into the next layer of his story, his evolution as a bodybuilder and the deeper lessons he learned along the way.
I'm eager to hear more about how his approach to fitness evolved and how those experiences shaped his coaching philosophy. It sounds like there's a lot more to unpack here. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Nimai Delgado. You know, it's fascinating how he transitioned from bodybuilding for personal reasons to using it as a platform to inspire others.
That evolution from seeking external validation to promoting a message of compassion is a key part of his realistic and natural approach as he gained recognition in the bodybuilding world. He faced both admiration and scrutiny.
Right.
Being a vegan bodybuilder, he challenged conventional norms and became a target for those who disagreed with his lifestyle.
That makes you wonder, how did he handle the pressure and negativity that comes with being in the spotlight, especially when your personal choices become a subject of public debate?
It wasn't always easy, he admits, to struggling with the need for external validation and the negativity directed at him.
Right.
It took a toll on his mental well-being, but rather than letting the negativity die him, he used it as an opportunity for growth. He realized that true strength comes from within, from aligning your actions with your values, regardless of external opinions.
So he turned a potentially negative experience into a catalyst for deeper self-awareness and a more authentic expression of his mission. That shift from external validation to inner strength is a powerful lesson for anyone on a personal growth journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He realized that relying on external validation is a recipe for disappointment.
Right.
It's a never-ending cycle. Instead, he chose to focus on what he could control: his effort, his mindset, and his message of compassion.
That's where the realistic aspect comes in. He wasn't trying to be perfect or please everyone.
Right.
He acknowledged the challenges, the doubts, and the negativity, and he chose to move forward with authenticity and integrity.
And that authenticity resonated with people.
Yeah.
He wasn't just preaching a lifestyle. He was living it with all its complexities and challenges.
Yeah.
People were drawn to his honesty and his commitment to personal growth, even when it meant being vulnerable and admitting his struggles.
Yeah. Like, it's a reminder that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength.
Yeah.
It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to build trust, and to create a space for genuine sharing and growth.
This focus on authenticity and vulnerability is a key part of what makes his message natural. He's not presenting a polished, idealized version of himself. He's sharing his journey with all its ups and downs in a way that feels relatable and inspiring.
It's like he's giving us permission to be imperfect, to stumble, to question, and to keep growing. That's a far more empowering message than the often unattainable images of perfection we see in the media.
Now let's talk about how his approach to bodybuilding evolved. Remember how he initially got into it for ego-driven reasons?
Right. He was seeking external validation and trying to fit in.
Well, over time, his focus shifted. He started training for self-love and well-being, emphasizing the feeling of strength and vitality rather than just outward appearance.
It sounds like he was tapping into the intrinsic motivation we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Instead of being driven by external factors, he was finding joy in the process and the feeling of pushing his limits and connecting with his body.
Exactly. He even talks about how he shifted his training style from lifting heavy weights to focusing on mastering the movements, on perfecting each rep with intention and control. He realized that quality trumps quantity and that true strength comes from precision and mindfulness, not just brute force.
That's a valuable insight, and it's not limited to fitness.
Right.
It applies to any skill or craft we're trying to master.
Yeah.
It's about being fully present, paying attention to the details, and striving for excellence in every step of the process.
You know, that reminds me of something he said about the power of a single rep.
Okay.
He believes that if you can truly master a single repetition of an exercise with perfect form and focus, you'll achieve far better results than mindlessly cranking out reps without attention to detail.
Yeah, it's like that old adage, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. It's about being intentional and mindful in our efforts, whether we're lifting weights, writing code, or learning a new language.
This shift in his training philosophy also influenced his decision to eventually step away from competitive bodybuilding.
Okay.
He realized that the constant comparison to others, the pressure to maintain a certain physique, and the focus on external validation were no longer aligned with his values.
That was a bold move. It's not easy to walk away from something you've invested so much time and energy into, especially when it comes with a certain level of prestige and recognition.
It was a decision driven by his evolving definition of success. He realized that external achievements like trophies and titles ultimately meant little if they came at the expense of his inner peace and authenticity. He was ready for a new chapter 1 focused on helping others discover their own inner strength and find joy in the process of personal growth.
So he transitioned from being a competitor to becoming a coach, a guide for others on their own unique journeys. What a beautiful embodiment of the call to action principle. He's not just talking about personal growth, he's actively creating a space for others to experience it.
That's a great observation. His coaching program isn't just about providing information, it's about empowering people to take action, to make sustainable changes in their lives, and to embrace a more realistic and natural approach to personal growth.
It sounds like his coaching philosophy is rooted in the same principles he embraced on his own journey: authenticity, self-compassion, and the power of intrinsic motivation. I'm curious to learn more about how he translates those principles into actionable steps for his clients.
Well, that's where things get really interesting. He's developed a unique approach that blends his engineering background with his passion for fitness and personal growth.
I'm all ears. Tell me more about this unique approach.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Nimai Delgado. So we've explored his journey from shame to advocacy, from engineer to coach, and from seeking external validation to finding inner strength.
Right.
Now let's shift our focus to his coaching methodology and how he empowers others to embrace a realistic and natural approach to personal growth.
I'm especially interested in how he blends his engineering background with his passion for fitness and personal growth.
Yeah.
It seems like an unusual combination, but it sounds like it's yielded some powerful results.
Yeah, it has. He's developed a structured approach
Okay.
that combines the analytical mindset of an engineer with the empathy and understanding of a coach.
Right.
He calls it the blueprint for balanced living,
Okay.
and it focuses on 3 key pillars: mindset, movement, and nourishment.
That's a holistic approach addressing not just the physical, but also the mental and emotional aspects of well-being.
Right.
It aligns with his emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things.
Exactly. He believes that true transformation requires addressing all 3 pillars in a balanced and sustainable way. He starts with the mindset pillar because he believes that our thoughts and beliefs create our reality.
That's a fundamental principle of personal growth.
Right.
Our thoughts shape our feelings, which drive our actions,
Yeah.
which ultimately determine our results.
He helps his clients identify limiting beliefs that are holding them back
Right.
and guides them to develop a more empowering mindset.
It's like he's providing the tools to reprogram their internal software,
Yeah.
replacing negative self-talk with positive affirmations and a belief in their ability to achieve their goals.
The second pillar movement goes beyond just exercise.
Okay.
It's about incorporating mindful movement into your daily life,
Right.
finding activities you enjoy, and focusing on the quality of your movement rather than just the quantity.
Right.
Remember his emphasis on mastering a single rep.
Yeah.
It's about bringing that same level of intention and focus to all your movement practices.
It's about moving your body with purpose, enjoying the process, and connecting with the feeling of strength and vitality that comes from mindful movement.
The third pillar, nourishment, is where his plant-based philosophy comes into play.
Okay.
But it's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you nourish yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Right. That's a holistic view of nourishment. It's about being mindful of the information you consume, the relationships you cultivate, and the activities that bring you joy and fulfillment.
He guides his clients to create a personalized nourishment plan that supports their overall well-being, taking into account their individual needs and preferences.
So he's not advocating a one-size-fits-all approach, but rather a personalized blueprint for balanced living that takes into account each individual's unique circumstances and goals.
Exactly. And this is where his realistic and natural approach shines. He understands that sustainable change happens gradually through consistent effort and small incremental improvements.
It's not about striving for perfection or adhering to rigid rules. It's about finding what works for you and making gradual, sustainable changes that you can maintain over time.
And he emphasizes self-compassion throughout the process. He encourages his clients to celebrate their successes, learn from their setbacks, and treat themselves with kindness and understanding along the way.
It's about creating a supportive inner dialogue free from self-criticism and judgment.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all works in progress, constantly learning and evolving.
Now, you might be wondering how the call to action element fits into all of this.
Yeah.
Well, it's woven into every aspect of his coaching program.
Okay.
He provides clear action steps, resources, and support to empower his clients to implement the changes they want to make.
It's like he's providing the roadmap, the tools, and the encouragement to help people navigate their own journeys of transformation. He's not just telling them what to do, he's showing them how to do it and supporting them along the way.
And that's what makes his approach so effective. He combines the structure and clarity of engineering with the heart and soul of coaching. He's created a program that is both practical and inspiring, grounded in reality, yet driven by a vision of personal growth and transformation.
It's been an incredibly insightful exploration of Nimai Delgado's journey and his unique approach to realistic and natural personal growth with a powerful call to action. As we wrap up this deep dive, what key takeaways would you like to leave our listeners with?
Well, Nimai Delgado's story reminds us that true growth often comes from embracing what makes us different.
Right.
From turning perceived weaknesses into strengths. It's about finding the courage to leave behind what no longer serves us. Even if it means stepping outside our comfort zones and defying conventional expectations.
It's about aligning our actions with our values, pursuing our passions with intention and strategic planning.
It's about finding joy in the process, celebrating our successes, learning from our setbacks, and approaching ourselves with kindness and compassion every step of the way.
It's a reminder that we all have the potential to create positive change in our own lives and in the world around us.
Right.
We can all embrace the principles of realistic, natural, and action-oriented personal growth, just like Nimai Delgado.
Exactly. Until next time, keep diving deep, exploring new ideas, and discovering the limitless possibilities that lie within you.